It is Wednesday, November 12th, a hump day here at What the Truck. I'm your host, Malcolm Harris. Welcome. Super excited for you all to be here with us today. We have an awesome show in store. We're going to be talking data, decisions, and delivery. Looking ahead to see what is on deck. Y'all, again, 3 guests that are going to be awesome. The first, Arthur Axelrad, the co-founder and CEO of Dispatch Science, is going to be joining the show to talk about the launch of DataSync, the latest in their DSX ecosystem, and how carriers can gain real-time control and visibility over their operations like never before. Next, we're going to be joined. This has never happened before, guys. 2 people are going to be joining me on this desk at the same time. First, Sarah Olmstead, the president and owner of Rebel Logistics Service, and Mike Holland Sr., the director of domestic logistics at Five Below, are going to dive into the ECA Marketplace event. This is, again, a one-of-a-kind event where it's going to talk about where shippers meet top regional carriers, pre-schedule curated meetings, and discover tools to optimize their freight strategy for 2026. So, guys, this is a massive show. We're going to get to headlines in just a moment. Before we get there, all of this and more would not be possible without PCS. Again, today's show is brought to you by PCS. In this freight market, margins are everything. PCS TMX with Cortex AI helps carriers capture the right loads, cut wasted miles, and find profit points on every run, because profit, not volume, is the new payload. See how at PCSsoft.com. Guys, I have some announcements that I want to provide to you. Only 2, but I need you to listen. If you don't listen to anything on this show today, I have 2 great announcements. The first, I want you to get ready for some heat in the shipping world on Monday, November 17th at 1 p.m. Central. Again, 1 p.m. Central, November 17th. ProShip is hosting the 2025 EOI End of Year Parcel Roast, where shipping strategies get served extra crispy, like I like my chicken wings. If you know, you know. The live webinar isn't just a typical panel. Shipping experts are roasting real strategies submitted by shippers. It's fast-paced, brutally honest, and surprisingly fun. Why tune in? Because shippers are duct taping their way through peak season, and this roast breaks down what's not working and what is, and how to fix it before 2026 hits. Don't miss it. Real shipping strategies, real burns, real fixes. Register now at go.proshipinc.com/roast25- webinar. I'm going to read that one more time, and we'll have it in the show link. Of course, go.proshipinc.com/roast25- webinar. That is going to be a fun and hot one. You do not want to miss out. Now, also, I want you to join us live tomorrow from the Traffic Club of Chicago as FreightWaves founder and CEO, my guy, Craig Fuller, goes toe-to-toe with Ken Adamo, as well as the armchair attorney, Matt Leffler, my boy. He is going to rule over the spiciest debate in freight. You do not want to miss this. We'll make an announcement, and we have a graphic for this. If you haven't seen it on social media, you are under a rock. Look at this, y'all. Fuller, Adamo, and my man, the armchair attorney. Again, Matt Leffler is going to be presiding over this heavyweight fight. This is like a UFC match, guys. I hope you guys are ready. You do not want to miss this. We will have a link for this as well within the show notes. This is going to be a great freight debate and a battle. So get ready, lock in. I know Craig's ready, and I know Ken will be ready as well. All right, I told you guys we would get to the business, and let's talk headlines. First things first, we are going to go to the major story happening today. There's big developments in the trucking world. A DC appeals court just blocked the FMCSA's rule that allowed states to issue CDLs to non-domiciled drivers who already held work permits. The court said that the FMCSA overstepped its authority by creating a new immigration category without approval from Homeland Security. This one's huge for fleets relying on immigrant labor, especially as drivers, the pool remains light. It raises questions about how the industry balances labor needs versus regulatory boundaries going forward. There's more on this that's going to be happening, so definitely we're going to have updates. I urge you to stay in the know. Visit FreightWaves.com for more information. Now, transitioning out of that to news that is always happening, it seems lately, there is another bankruptcy happening. Looking at another tech company specifically, venture backed Zoom, once seen as a digital brokerage disruptor, has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. Zoom, they've raised millions of VC funding and partnered with big names, but like many freight tech firms post 2021, it's hit a wall as the market cooled and funding has dried up. It's just another reminder, of course, that the digital freight revolution is still shaking out winners and losers, and most of all, profitability. So it's not growth, but definitely profitability. That's the name of the game as we speak. So more on this from John Kingston. Visit our website right now to see the full article. And then lastly, let's go on the water, and we're going to talk about the U.S. suspending port fees on Chinese ships. In this surprise move, the U.S. again has suspended port fees on Chinese vessels, easing a trade era policy that has added costs to Chinese carriers since 2018. This suspension could improve shipping costs, right? And port flows ahead of the holiday, but it also signals a possible thaw or at least a pause in U.S.-China maritime tensions. The timing's interesting too, coming off as supply chains are already strained and trade policy is becoming a political talking point headed into 2026. So definitely for more on this, Stuart gave us a great recap and summary. Whenever you're looking at that article, visit freightwaves.com for more information. And now joining me from Dispatch Science, again, the CEO and co-founder and just a great guy, Arthur Axelrad. Arthur, how are you, man? It's so good to see you.
It's good to see you again. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. How's your day gone so far? It's been a strong week. I'm assuming you're always busy, so.
Yeah, always busy. Things are rocking and rolling. We're in good shape.
Awesome, awesome. Well, you famously called data the fuel of modern logistics. Let's just get into it because with the launch of DataSync, what new control or visibility are carriers gaining that they didn't have necessarily before?
Well, the thing about DataSync and what we're doing here is we're continuing what we've been doing with our entire platform, which is removing friction. We're making it easier for carriers to have access to their data. So, like many solutions, like many platforms, people can go online. They can connect directly into it as a user, run reports and queries and things like that. But what we wanted to do is take that a step further and give people the ability to have their data pulled down and delivered into their local environments for their teams to do with it as they will.
Now, DataSync follows the earlier launch of DataBridge. How does this new solution build on that momentum, and how does this fit into the larger DSX ecosystem vision?
I guess maybe for those who don't know Dispatch Science, let me kind of position this on the whole, right? So if you look at the delivery ecosystem, the logistics market, right? It's just so fragmented. I mean, you've got, and right? There's air, rail, freight. You've got all different sub verticals of people doing deliveries within healthcare, e-commerce, stuff for big and bulky, replenishment work, you name it. And probably the majority of consumers and people don't even realize that there are actually thousands of carriers beyond just UPS, FedEx, and DHL that are doing final mile deliveries. So what we're really doing is focusing on those companies that are using, let's say, anything from a guy in a bike to a Sprinter van, box truck, all the way up to a tractor trailer. And what Dispatch Science did was identify that there was an opportunity here. There was all these carriers that were struggling with outdated tech, outdated systems that were just like a mess of bolt-ons and legacy products. And this was, in the modern age of the iPhone and Amazon that revolutionized the user experience. So what we looked at from a Dispatch Science perspective was, hey, there's an opportunity here to help these people, help these carriers, and help these companies with tools that now give that modern user experience, modern tools, automate these processes, and essentially offer the best of both worlds. At once a TMS, like a full complete TMS solution, but also, and this is where DSX comes in, a platform that lets people take some of these tools and use them to create their secret sauce. Use them to kind of do whatever it is that they do different to win their day. So that could be things like enhancing route optimization, creating custom offers for their shippers, things like that. And so what DataSync does is it follows the momentum of DSX. So DSX being an entire framework that now says, hey, let's take the TMS and make it more than just this fixed system that people use. Let's turn it into a platform that people can extend to do with it as they want.
Right. Now, Arthur, many TMS platforms talk about integration and visibility. You know this. We've all seen this time and time again. But from your perspective, what separates Dispatch Science's approach from others when it comes specifically to the last mile space?
I think it's a few things. For one, we came to the table with a very kind of revolutionary product, which is it's cloud native. So it's really the architecture. So I don't want to be too much of a nerd here, but the devil's in those details, and having that modern solution, right? That modern architecture is what makes the difference. It means that you have APIs that can communicate in real time and pass through multiple systems, multiple collaborators. At the end of the day, really, it keeps coming down to the fact that it's happening fast, in real time, with no friction.
The DSX framework emphasizes just basically being extensive as well as connection, right? Connectivity. Can you explain what an open ecosystem really means for carriers and, specifically in an industry at large? What does that look like?
So what it comes down to is that it's almost impossible for any one company, a vendor like us, or any other vendor to be everything to everyone. Every shipper has certain needs of what they need and expect. Some are going to say that they want things scanned when they're going out for delivery. People are going to want one or two or three photos, different PODs, different geo fencing controls. So what the extensibility does is it gives the carrier the ability to now service each of their different clients however they need to be successful, without a vendor getting in the way or being a bottleneck.
So let's transition to more technology and impact, because specifically for carriers who may not have large IT teams or the complex data infrastructure, how simple is it to implement DataSync and start gaining insights?
Well, so what DataSync does is it essentially takes the information that's stored in the cloud, and it makes it possible for a carrier or a user to have that information brought down locally into their environment under their control. And from a technical perspective, that local environment could be a person's laptop. So you definitely don't need a large IT team to implement or utilize it. But at the end of the day, it is data that's coming back and is going to be sitting in some company's SQL database. So I guess I would say you need at least one geek, one nerd to pull it off.
Definitely. Giving carriers real-time access to operational data is powerful. I mean, it is one heck of a tool. What early wins or efficiency gains have you seen from those using DataSync?
Well, we just launched, so candidly, it's too early to say. We're still at the stage of having launched it and working with our early adopters that are in the process of rolling it out, and we're working with them. We're collaborating to show them what it can do, hone the way it works. I think the exciting part is what it's going to allow very quickly in the short term, where we're essentially giving these clients the keys to their own data, basically allowing them to have the freedom to do with it what they will. So in some cases, the vision and the intent is to do some connected to data warehouses, connected to other decision management systems, and other third parties. Again, without us being a bottleneck and freeing every company to do it their own way.
Now, Arthur, can you give me some real world examples where having full control, when it comes to operational data, has directly improved decision making for a carrier? Is there something applicable that you can share with our audience?
Okay, a couple of things come to mind. As an example, having access to information quickly is pretty important, and it allows companies to capitalize on opportunities. And so one just comes to mind. I remember is one of our carriers. Well, let me back it up. So a shipper was essentially impacted by a large, well-known carrier that went out of business with no notice, and so now suddenly they were sitting there with a lot of freight that they needed to move, a lot of parcels that they needed to get delivered for e-commerce last mile. And one of our clients was in a communication with this shipper, and because they had immediate access to their information, to their capacity, and the tools that allowed them to very quickly run some scenarios, they were able to make a commitment that allowed them to earn a very large business-changing piece of business for their company. And that was all because they were able to access the data from the system and have the system's tools readily available.
It's fantastic stuff, Arthur. Now, beyond operational efficiency, how does DataSync help carriers strategize or respond to broader industry challenges like capacity, driver shortages, or fluctuating delivery demand? What would that look like for you?
From a driver shortage perspective, the DataSync itself, it's a generic tool to bring data down. It's a generic tool that allows a carrier to access all of their TMS information and data in their local way. What that means is that if they want to now take that data and kind of commingle it or merge it with, let's say, information from driver onboarding, use it to streamline their driver onboarding process, or use it to get a better idea on the drivers that they want to bring on board, like for the purposes of balancing out their loads. DataSync is going to basically make it easier and remove the friction that there might have been previously to be able to answer those types of questions. I would say at the heart, that's what it's going to be all about. It's going to be about like opening up that gateway so that carriers can access their data in a fashion that they want, and in a way they can do it independently without having to ever wait for a third party or a vendor to facilitate that process.
Now, Arthur, let's pivot into something that people are talking about nonstop, and I'm sure you hear about every single day: security and trust specifically, but security. Because DataSync, it uses secure synchronization protocols, Azure Entra ID authentication as well. How critical was security and governance in designing this product?
It was super critical, but at the same time, it was a no-brainer because we just leveraged what we had already built. So the entire architecture of our modern cloud-native platform meant that we were already leveraging a very sophisticated and robust security model. And in terms of building out the DataSync solution, we were able to really piggyback on all of the heavy lifting that had been done up to that point.
Absolutely.
I could elaborate a little bit just to say, what's specifically important for people to know is that with a cloud platform like ours, your data it's encrypted. It's called encrypted at rest and encrypted in transit, which essentially just means that whether it's sitting on the cloud servers or it's in movement over the lines, like over communications, it's still encrypted. Now, This is where it's going to be the carrier's responsibility to now know that, hey, they're basically taking their money data out of the vault and they're bringing it into their office. So now this is where carriers are going to need and want to be paying attention to their security, which previously we were taking care of for them.
Arthur, that was such a good segue because I was literally about to ask you because carriers, right, they often have concerns about cloud data privacy. How does Dispatch Science balance giving them full control while also ensuring compliance and protection? Because that's such a balance that it has to, weigh eventually on you and on the organization as well.
Well, so first off, Dispatch Science has a really elaborate set of security roles and permissions that users, that companies can determine, they can set. So you can clearly say that, hey, this person only has access to order entry. This person only has access to dispatching. This person can invoice but cannot do approvals. So the platform offers already the layer, if you will, that allows each company to fine tune those security rules based on their operations, based on their rules.
Now, how does DataSync enhance when it comes to audibility as well as governance for carriers that must maintain strict regulatory standards? What would that happen to look like as well?
Well, two things there. So the Dispatch Science platform logs everything. We have a very, very extensive amount of event and activity logging that happens. So we absolutely will know at all times what was changed or done by who and when. So that paper trail is rock solid. And on top of that, the information is now made available to the carriers who can pull this down through DataSync and have access to that information. So again, the logging and tracking there is quite extensive. And the other benefit that you take away in this scenario is for those companies that have very specific requirements. So look, we save data for 7 years. So all the data that's in our platform is saved for 7 years. But let's say someone's doing work with a government agency that says, no, you have to have data for 10 years. And maybe even you have to have a specific report with the PODs formatted just so. Well, through DataSync, that would allow a carrier to adhere to those compliance requirements.
Now, let's again transition because a little birdie told me, and I have some insight that you have a good friend in studio with me today. Larry Lawrence from ECA and his team are going to be on a separate segment right after this. Dispatch Science works closely with them. How do strategic partnerships like this amplify the value carriers can get when it comes to DSX solutions and just in general about connection that you have in this industry?
Well, I mean, Larry's a great guy, and the ECA is an amazing association. So I've often said that it's because of the ECA that Dispatch Science exists today. It's this kind of amazing model of bringing together shippers and bringing together carriers and vendors kind of in one ecosystem to work together. And we've been fortunate in that through those relationships and through those communications, we've gotten to network with this group of companies that, for the most part, are very specialized in, at least from our point of view, that final mile space. So I mentioned it earlier, right? Logistics is huge. You've got rail, you've got ocean, you've got all kinds of different things. But the ECA really says, hey, here's like a micro kind of vertical sub-segment, if you will, of this industry, of these people that do work together. And let's get them in a room so that they can all speak and that they can all collaborate. And that room has become this annual event they do. They call it the ECA Marketplace. And it's an event that's kind of like a speed dating kind of couple of days where everybody just very quickly meets, sort of says who they are, what they're doing, what they need, and from there, some amazing long-term relationships can start.
It's awesome. Now we're going to definitely jump into the ECA Marketplace with this next segment because, in talking with Larry, it seems like such a no-brainer to attend. And no, definitely shout out to him and also shout out to you. And I want to speak specifically about the future when it comes to, you and everything, when it comes to dispatch science. What's next? Are there going to be additional capabilities, innovations that you're excited to bring to the market in 2026 and beyond? What does everything look like for you, Arthur?
Well, we're basically continuing on the path that we're on, which is to continue to service these carriers. We're very much doing customer centric development, like looking at what our customers need, looking at what would move the needle for them, and that's what essentially drives our decisions. For 2026, the big ticket item is going to be AI. We've already implemented AI into our platform, and we have other aspects that we are of the platform where we're enhancing its use, specifically in automated and assisted dispatch, in route optimization. We're doing a lot to really focus on administrative automation, right? So looking at anything that is a simpler function. AI can handle that. We're also using AI to look for basically trends or problems and raise them up automatically, flag those to users so they can take action without having to wait and look for them. So I would say big ticket items would for us for 2026 on the platform side for customers to look out for is the new developments with AI. One more to mention is we're also redoing our driver app. So we have a mobile driver app, which is probably still the most sophisticated, capable, and modern one in the space. But we want to basically always stay in a pole position. So yeah, we're also gonna rebuild that one so it can bring some new wonders that we'll showcase next year.
Definitely. Last question, because I could talk to you for the next 3 hours because this is so fascinating and I want to be mindful of time. What advice would you give last mile carriers who want to fully leverage their operational data to gain a competitive edge within the space?
I think that it's to call a spade, look in the mirror, and recognize that there comes a point in time where you can no longer continue patching old legacy tech. So whether it's us or another modern player, the platform, the architecture, that's the starting point for being able to be competitive and have all of the robust tools of route optimization and automated dispatch and that seamless layer of frictionless communication with your shippers and your consignees. So I guess my advice is to look at your tech. So my advice would be to look at your tech and ask yourself a hard question of can this software carry us into the future?
Awesome. Again, Arthur Axelrad, the co-founder and CEO at Dispatch Science. Arthur, thank you so much, man. This was super insightful, and I got a lot of value out of it. I know our listeners did as well. And just thank you for being on point, and hope to have you back on the show in 2026.
It was a pleasure. Thank you, Malcolm.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And want to give a special shout out to the entire team because logistically today has been one for the books. And I'm just going to say, hi, guys.
Well,
What's up? How are we doing?
Good, how are you?
I mean, you guys just popped up in a flash. It's good to see you. I didn't even have to lift a finger.
We're stealth like that.
You guys are stealth. I mean, I need better security. I don't know what's going on. And behind me in this camera is a handsome guy. Larry, hello, sir. How are you? It's good to see you. I want to just again introduce from left to right Sarah Olmstead, the president and owner of Rebel Logistics Service, and then Mike Holland Sr., the director of domestic logistics from Five Below. Super excited today. How are we doing, both of you?
Good.
Wonderful.
Good. How was the drive-in? Everything good?
I flew. I'm
You
from
flew.
Chicago, the Chicago area.
Okay, nice. Flight was okay.
It was.
Good,
It wasn't too bad.
Mike, where are you based
I'm
on?
from Florida,
You're from what part?
Sarasota.
Okay, so my mom lives in Sarasota.
Okay.
My sister goes to Venice High School.
Love it. Love it.
So
Yeah.
it's a small world. We're definitely going to connect after this. So I'm going to do this. This is the first time I was telling our listeners, I've never had two people up here at the same time.
Oh,
So this is a first for me. So we're going to go popcorn.
lucky.
No, I'm the lucky one. I got you guys. So I will go popcorn style. Sarah, I'm going to start with you. All right. So
okay.
tell us a little bit about your journey in becoming president and owner of Rebel Logistics Service and what kind of drew you to the industry in the first place.
Well, my journey started almost 25 years ago.
Okay.
I actually worked for my father for almost 15 years.
Yeah.
He was planning on retiring and basically said, "Hey, why don't you turn this into something that you want?"
Right.
And so Rebel was started in 2016, and he's still around. He's in the background, helping me with some marketing and kind of a shoulder to lean on. But I talk to him every day, so he's still here.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And Mike, talk a little bit about your role at Five Below. What does the day-to-day look like, and how did your path lead you to this position? Because it's a special one.
No. I've been with Five Below 16 years. Started at the company when we were very small, 75 stores. So got in very early, focused on working in operations across several of our distribution centers, and transportation was really a passion for me and really something that I wanted to be a part of. And I've grown over the years to really work up to this role, and just very passionate about servicing our stores.
Right.
And just being in this industry and building those partnerships.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Now, there's a lot of lessons learned, right, when it comes to this industry. And I'm going to ask you guys both one. Sarah, starting with you, there's a lesson learned in running a 3PL, probably every hour on the hour. What is one thing you think every shipper should know?
Probably that the only thing that will be consistent is change.
That is one heck of a lesson. Oh, wow. No, I couldn't say that better myself. And then Mike, of course, with your role overseeing domestic logistics, what are some of the biggest operational challenges that you've seen, and how have you overcome them as a team?
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's no surprise there's issues with tariffs out there.
Oh, yeah.
Our company has done a great job of really just being ahead of it, really making sure that we stay ahead of everything. And we have a great team at our company that focuses on how do you do things differently? How do you always think outside the box? And it's helped us be successful because we do think outside the box.
Definitely. Now, Sarah, let's talk a little bit about, transition to the ECA, right? Because for our listeners that are not familiar, what is the ECA and how does the marketplace fit into the association's mission?
Well, the ECA is a big ball of all different types of companies coming together to find a common ground, whether that's somebody looking for new partnerships, expanding their current footprints, or even being able, like our vendors, to supply services that maybe some of the association members don't even know exist.
Yeah. Now, Mike, why should shippers who have never attended Marketplace take their time to register for this event that you all and Larry and even Arthur have said is like a must-be at event?
We spend a lot of time going to many different conferences,
Yeah.
especially being in this industry. The difference with ECA is we are focused and driven on really those partnerships and really diving down into needs of what shippers need. And that's what this conference is about. It really focuses on what are your needs and connecting you with the right partners to make sure you have that success from it.
Definitely. Now, Sarah, beyond the annual marketplace, which is an awesome event, what other benefits or services does the ECA provide throughout the year to shippers and carriers?
Well, one of the things that I actually utilize my membership for quite often is their online platform. You
Okay.
can search the current shippers that are members, carriers that are members, and also vendors. And that typically is something I'll utilize when I am looking to expand whatever operations I'm working on at
Right.
that moment in time. But then throughout the year, there's online events that are hosted. I'm actually part of the women's group. That's the shirt I've got
Oh,
on.
that's awesome. I love pink anyway. That's my color. So,
And the women's group will hold webinars and bring in some speakers to discuss topics. And women's group isn't just for women per se, but it's drawing in the people that are kind of climbing the ladder and need additional help or resources.
I love that. I love that. Now, Mike, your organization specifically, how does it engage with ECA outside of Marketplace? And what do you value when it comes to this ongoing relationship that you all have at Five Below?
Yeah, it's a great question. We utilize the website as well. I
Yeah.
mean, for us as a growing retailer, we as the year goes on, we have needs that change. Business changes, opportunities changes. We open new stores in the markets, and we utilize the website to find vendors that can help us support our final mile deliveries to our stores. And that's really where ECA has grown and became a huge partner for us. Majority of our business that we do today delivering to our stores, a lot of our partners came out of ECA.
Ah, that makes a lot of sense. Now, coming back to Marketplace, Sarah, I mean, this is a one of a kind event where shippers meet local and regional carriers. From your perspective, what exactly makes it so unique?
You know what? I think the really special thing about this, compared to other conferences I've been to in the past, other conferences, you're in a sea of other providers,
Right.
whether that's carriers or vendors alike, and you're in these booths and you're just waiting for somebody to stop by for just 30 seconds so you
Yeah.
can exchange business cards or
Right.
try and get some glimpse into what they're looking for, where the ECA basically forces that situation.
Mhm.
You're locked in for 12 minutes with the person you're sitting across the table from, uninterrupted. It also limits small talk because of the time frame that's set for each of these meetings. And for a shipper like us, we get 48 meetings in 48 hours.
Wow.
I mean, that it's huge. So
Absolutely.
I normally am running out of business cards by the end of the
It's
conference.
a great problem to have.
Yes.
Now, Mike, frequently the shippers are meeting, owners and top executives directly. How does this change when it comes to the dynamic of these conversations? Because, like, is the intensity level there? I mean, what does that look like?
Yeah, I mean it's definitely different. For me, we get a lot of calls every day. We get
Yeah,
cold calls every
I'm
day.
sure.
The benefit of this conference is really you have those. You not only learn their business in that 12 minutes, but you learn who runs their business, and you get the key providers of their business in front of you. You're not going to get everything you need out of that 12 minutes, but you get enough to walk away that you want to reach out to them afterwards.
Definitely. Now, Sarah, talk to me specifically about this survey to like pre-schedule
Mhm.
meetings. So it's, I guess, a curated 48 meetings, like up to that. I mean, does it help kind of prioritize who you meet and kind of scheduling out your day to make the most of these different meetings?
It does. It
Okay.
does. It's a huge piece to this process.
Right.
Shippers, carriers alike get this survey prior to the marketplace, and it gives you the opportunity to go through all of the people who are going to be there that are signed up for these meetings and rank them based on their location, their services, their equipment type, whether they've got warehouse space, scanning.
Really?
There's so much that goes into this survey, and essentially you rank who you want to meet on a 1 through 5, 1 being maybe not interested, 5 being yes, I need to meet these people. And then the carriers on the flip side have an opportunity to do that with the shippers. So it really brings you together with the people that you want to see and they want to see you as well.
So, Mike, this is a two-sided conversation because first thing is, do you find that ranking system helpful? And then two, this is, and correct me please if I'm wrong, a 12-minute interview, right?
Yes.
This is a 12-minute meeting. How do you make the most out of 12 minutes? Because that just seems crazy and bizarre. But I guess if you have 48 meetings, you can make something happen within those 48 meetings.
Well, if you think about it, it's 12 minutes. I have 6 minutes to tell them what I'm looking for, and they have 6 minutes to tell me who they are. And usually within a minute, you'll be able to tell if you're a good fit. But again, as Sarah said, if you go through those rankings and surveys the right way, you know who you're looking for. They know who we are already. It's just about getting those connections together.
This is like the speed dating of logistics. I've
is.
never heard anything like this. Now, Sarah, how do you personally, with what you've done, make the most out of that allotted time?
You
What's your
know,
game plan?
my game plan is I'm always looking for partners that have similar attributes or beliefs to how I run my business.
Yeah.
And typically within those 12 minutes in conversation, you can pretty much tell how you're going to get along with the person that is sitting in front of you. So my whole goal, I actually come with a list of questions
Okay.
that I can ask the person sitting in front of me, and I'll know almost immediately if they are a fit just based on those questions.
Right.
After that, though, it's a bunch of social opportunities, and that gives you even more chance to connect with people. So it's truly about it. It's almost like dating, finding your
For
perfect
sure.
match.
That's what it definitely sounds like. And I was just about to ask you, and I'm glad you answered that because I was like, outside of the meetings, is there anything else that you see? And I
Yes.
guess those networking kind of events
Yes.
help out a
There's
ton.
several that occur throughout all 2.5 days of the conference.
Nice. Now, in our industry, follow-up is king, right? You know this very well. Mike, specifically, how do you follow up if you don't get to meet with somebody that you just didn't crack the first 48, just
Yep.
wasn't on that list?
So we take the time. We have packets that everybody
Okay.
that comes to my table, they have a packet that says, here's everything that this is our basis of our business.
Nice.
Here's what we're looking for. Here's our opportunities. And they take that back and that allows them, here's all our contact information.
Yeah.
So you can go back and look at our business and see, is this an opportunity that makes sense for what we have to offer? And then we ask them to reach out once they get back. Obviously, we have 48 meetings. They have just as many meetings as a carrier that they have to go through and compile what they got out of it too. So we make sure that one, there's a huge investment for carriers to come to this conference. So as a shipper, it's important for us. If they reach out to us, it's important for us to follow up with them and make sure that we had that 12 minutes. Did we give them everything that they needed from us? And are they a true partner that makes sense for us to work with?
That's awesome. Now, for someone new, Sarah, that is attending this first time, they're like, hey, you know what? I saw What the Truck, saw Sarah, saw Mike. I am in. What's your biggest piece of advice for them?
Take your breaks. Especially as a shipper, there's a lot of talking, and there are a fair amount of breaks that happen throughout the day, whether it's just 10 or 15-minute breaks to the lunch period to end of day breaks. Take your break, use it to go to the bathroom, and during those breaks, make it time for yourself, because otherwise you'll exhaust yourself by the end of the day. Good exhaustion,
Yeah.
but you'll be exhausted.
And I'll ask that same question to you, Mike. What's the biggest piece of advice for a newbie?
I've learned over the years to make sure I have enough resources with me. So,
Oh, yeah.
you want to be a hero, but the cape only goes so far. So, we've learned to have multiple tables as a big retailer there, and make sure we have resources so we can take turns. But yeah, it's exhausting 2 days, but what you get out of this conference, it lasts a lifetime.
That is amazing. Now, my final question for you both. What's the one thing that you want listeners to remember about the ECA Marketplace event and just the ECA in general? What's one thing?
The ECA Marketplace is the conference you never knew you always needed.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, ECA is the conference that I leave with true partnerships. Everybody that I work with in the industry, the true partners that we walk away with and we deal with every day, they came out of ECA.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Sarah, Mike, thank you guys so much. Where can
Thank
we
you.
find more information for you all and with the ECA as well?
So my business website is www.go2rebel.com.
Okay.
And the ECA website, which both of us have our pictures prominently displayed, is expresscarriersassociation.com.
Awesome. Awesome. And Mike?
And my smiling face is on LinkedIn.
And my smiling face is on LinkedIn too. Again, thank you, Sarah, as well as Mike. And thank you to Larry as well for everything that he's done. And I want to give a special shout out to Arthur as well. That was an awesome interview and just good things all the way around. I do want to give you guys a few reminders. Guys, we have a heavyweight fight tomorrow. Do not miss this. I'm going to say it once. I'm going to say it one more time just so you don't miss it. Fuller Adamo, the great freight debate. It is on and popping. Going to be broadcasted live tomorrow on the 13th, and that's going to be happening from the Chicago Traffic Club. You do not want to miss this. Again, Craig Fuller, Ken Adamo, and the armchair attorney, Matt Leffler, is going to be officiating this thing. This is going to be bananas. Now, in terms of Friday's show, I have actually been nominated to be at my alma mater. I am officially on the board of directors for the Journalism College, and there's not going to be a show live here, but we're going to get some more information to you for Friday. Go Vols. Love you guys. I will see you bright and early on Monday. It's been another episode of What the Truck. I'm your host, Malcolm Harris. Peace and love. I'll see you soon.